you so much.
You
Give it the power, you sit up the fellow's head.
Erase that.
Okay, call meeting to order. Any additions to the agenda, council, any additions to the agenda?
Yes, Your Worship. I would like to put the MGA on, waterfront and Reeve Street project.
Okay, any other additions? Any other council?
Yes, Deputy Mayor, I just have one, and it's the Filipino Society. It's a request from the Filipino Society regarding flag.
I think I know what you get. Festival?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, if I hear nothing else, could I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Gallery presentations. Roxbury Volunteer Fire Department. Mr. Donald McDonald, Chief of the Fire Department. Welcome to Roxbury Council.
Thank you. Can I move this back in?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, council, I have provided a breakdown of calls for the past 5 years to give you an idea of the trends of what we've been experiencing. And of course, our 21 and 2020 were during the COVID time, so the numbers were down, less people traveling, and less activity in the area. As you can see by our 2022 calls, they've increased up to 67 for the year. There's nothing extraordinary in them. The number of fire alarm calls were up considerably. And again, we've attributed that to just the increase in activity from everything coming back from COVID. I also provided just a highlights of what's been happening from December 21 to November 2022. One of our big fundraisers is the Super Bowl ticket drop, and it was successful in 2021, completely sold out. That was a key donation from Atlantic Superstores. We fully participated in the 2021 holiday parade, the winter parade. Purchased 2 AED devices, one for upstairs in the hall and one on our rescue truck, so it's more of a mobile unit. We had a complete slate of 2022 officers elected. We purchased a firefighter level 1 version 7 NFPA. We're doing more training in-house now rather than relying on the fire school. Our standard operating guidelines for filling the SCA bottles and inspecting and using the air bank has been completed and implemented. Participated in the 2021 Christmas Food Bank Drive for the food bank. Again, in conjunction with the Atlantic Superstore, we collected over $3,000 in cash gift certificates and able to fill 2 utility truckloads of groceries. We upgraded our network and audio-visual system upstairs in the hall for training purposes and hall rentals. Our truck cameras, we have cameras in our trucks. Those the storage devices are upgraded so they now take 40 hours of recording. It's something just out of the due diligence. So if anything ever goes wrong, we actually have video recordings. We purchased 2 Streamlight scene lights, and they were put on our truck, so now we can light up a scene without having to start the generator, and also bought 40 Streamlight helmet lights for the members on their helmets. We installed a new radio counter and increased our storage there around having supplies, and we moved it to a better location. We applied and were granted the 2022 Provider Fund, from which we are buying two more TMR portable radios, 4 turnout jackets and pants, and we bought the last piece necessary for our JAWS It's a battery operated ramp, so we're no longer on the hydraulic hose system and the generator. Everything is now battery operated. The retired firefighter plates came into existence, and we've issued those. Our trail mule, which was donated by the Straight Trail Association, was damaged on a rescue, and we've got that fixed back on the truck, and also participated in the International Trail Day celebrations. Organized with the MAD group, a mock motor vehicle accident at the hall, which was also recorded by the media class from Sarek. Supported the Straight Festival fireworks again this year, or in 2022. Air packs and SCBA have been inspected, tested, and cleaned. Participated in firemen's funeral services in Louisdale. Supported the Ukrainian auction, was a hall donation for them. We had one firefighter attend a foam ICS training in Texas, which was courtesy of Everwind. Ongoing society preparations continued to take place in 2022, which were successful in 2023. We've replaced our thermal imaging camera and continue with our Wednesday night learnings and Sunday morning organizing and upgrading. I notice on here that I didn't include that we were also in the antique car show with our old fire truck. And we also participated in the Pride Parade as well. Those are just some of the highlights of what we've done in 2022.
Thank you, Chief McDonald. Any questions, council?
Just have a comment, Deputy Mayor, through you,
Councilor.
to Chief McDonald. It's, what you've laid out here in terms of summary is just a real testament to the amount of community involvement that the fire hall and fire department members have been demonstrating over not just the last year, but the last couple of years especially. And appreciate your leadership as the fire chief at the department. And these are such positive things, big investments, and more to come. Anyhow, I just want to congratulate you and the Port Hawkesbury Fire Department for your service and for their contributions in the community.
Thank you.
And Chief, I'd like to thank you for coming, and don't be a stranger.
Thank you.
It'll take 5 years the next time.
Yeah. Can I also add that working with the staff in the town, Terry, Melissa, Aaron, Gordy, Jason, it's always great. There's never a no.
Great, that's
It's
good to hear.
always, how do we make it work? So it's appreciated.
That's good to hear, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, so. Okay, we have acknowledgements. Any acknowledgements from council? I have one, if council doesn't have any. I'd like to acknowledge May 5th, 2023 as Red Dress Day, also known as National Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Children and Two-Spirited People. It's also observed on May 5th. I'd like to acknowledge that. No other acknowledgements? If none. Approval of council minutes, April 4th, 2023. Public meeting.
Move.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Business arising from the minutes. Any business arising from the minutes? Council?
Yes, Deputy Mayor, just through you to Terry, in terms of correspondence that's been sent to the municipalities of Richmond and Inverness to arrange for joint meetings between this council and their respective councils. Have we had any response to the letters that have been sent or feedback?
What number is that, Councillor?
That's number 11. Number 11.
We haven't received a response. I will be following up this week.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other business arising from the minutes? April 4th?
Deputy Mayor, through you to Councillor Coyne, number 13 under other business, number 2 under there was regarding bylaw officer priorities. Just curious, Councillor Coyne, is there any, have you been able to attend any meetings since you weren't at that meeting, I don't think, on April 4th, were you?
No, I wasn't.
No, but you did get some feedback maybe, but there was to be a meeting again, Leslie?
So through you,
Yeah.
Your Worship, I received exactly what's in front of me. I did not get any direction of the top 3 priorities. So it's going to be hard for me to go to this meeting and say, these are our 3 priorities.
Yeah.
So with seeing this, I'm getting the feeling that maybe we don't want to be part of this. I'm not sure. But reading this and asking for the top 3 and not getting anything in response is kind of making me feel like maybe there's not as much interest as I initially thought.
Well, I don't know, Councillor, if that's the case. I know myself, when I was questioning it, I just know that each municipality has different needs for, like, Inverness County, for instance, might not need a parking like the town would need by law, for instance. So, but I think there's a need. I know Councillor McIver and ourselves been talking for years about the bylaw officer in conjunction with the other municipalities.
Yeah, so if memory serves me correct, I think it was back in March, I had asked for 3 priorities to bring back to this meeting. Here we are in May, 2 months later, and I still have no direction from council.
Your Worship, through you, and also at that meeting, the CIO reported that he's working with the RCMP constable of the detachment here, and that summary offense tickets were being printed. And it was my understanding that the RCMP were going to start issuing summary offense tickets rather than a bylaws officer. So that was one of the priorities I think that we did have.
Yeah.
So I guess that priority is going to be looked after by our RCMP detachment.
Well, I don't know.
So through you to Councillor McQuarrie, I guess to answer your question,
Yeah.
if I could get some direction on our top
Sure.
3 sooner than later, there is a meeting being scheduled shortly for the 3 minutes or 4 municipalities to get back together.
Do you know the date?
I don't have a date
No,
yet.
okay. Yeah,
I'm
I'll
wondering.
definitely get back to you about that, and my apologies, yeah.
It can be through email.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm wondering, I was just gonna mention that if staff can, maybe send an email out to council asking just for 3 priorities, so their top priority, and send it back to staff, and staff can get it to Jason before his meeting, we can find out when the meeting is.
Sure.
Sure, sure. Yep. Okay, any other business arising from the minutes of April 4th? Council committee reports. Mr. Doyle.
Yes, Chair, there's 2 motions coming from Committee of Whole. One is with respect to volleyball Cape Breton, it's the town of Port Hawkesbury support volleyball Cape Breton team with a donation of $200.
Wish council?
Make the motion to support the volleyball team with a donation of $200.
It's been moved, we have a seconder?
Second.
Moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, unanimous. And we have another.
For your consideration, this is with respect to the Fibromyalgia Awareness Day. So coming from Committee of Whole, that the town of Port Hawkesbury support Fibromyalgia Awareness Day on May 12th.
Motion moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, unanimous.
And Chair, that is that's the business that's coming forward from Committee of Whole.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Doyle. Read the whole minutes of April 18th. Give a motion to approve the minutes.
Moved.
Second?
Moves and seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Any business arises from the minutes, April 18th, 2023? Jay, Councilman Cohen, you had a question on, I think you had an answer, Bill, was it?
Yeah, the answer is there that we're going to move it to the budget meeting for Challenger Baseball.
For Challenger Baseball, okay. Yeah. Move the budget. Okay, no other correspondence? In your package, there's a letter here from Municipal Affairs, John A. Lore, an answer to where, to the mayor and council. From a letter from March 2nd that we sent. It was on this, that's the one on the zone, on the tax,
On,
dropping the tax rates in certain areas.
yeah, that's on the development zone.
Yeah. So, everybody, any questions on the letter? In your package?
So, I guess, through you, Deputy Mayor, to Mr. Doyle, I guess realistically, this notion of being able to tax residential developments as part of commercial developments in a development zone is still ways off from being implemented if it's part of the overall review of the MGA. Would that be correct?
That's correct. So what this is telling us that will be considered through the review of the MGA.
Right. Which could be a year or 2 years yet, potentially.
I'm not
Yeah,
certain.
you know, yeah,
I'm
I know.
not certain.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen before the summer.
So I guess through you, Deputy Mayor, the council in general, like Councilor McQuarrie said, this could be a lengthy process before this review is complete. I wonder, do we again ask Municipal Affairs to consider this before they review? Because it could, this could potentially hamper some developments in this zone, correct? And I think if we express the concern that, you know, we have a potential developer here dealing with us today, and this tax break in this zone is probably a large, dependent on whether they go ahead or not with their project. And the urgency in this, would they consider relooking at this now for Port Hawkesbury?
Yeah, I don't know. My take on that would be, I don't know if they're gonna do one thing for just a single municipality and not the rest. That's kind of an issue we had with Halifax there. But I don't know. Do you have any suggestions, Mr. Doyle, on that?
Well, I can just, from some experience, I can tell you that legislation takes some time. And so we need for legislation to take some time, so there's due consideration for all the aspects of it. You know, having said that, we can ask for some kind of timing on this as to how long do we expect this to take? Like, is there an interim solution or something, or is there no way around this, or that kind of thing? So we can certainly respond to the letter of Solution County.
Make a motion, to send a letter, Councillor?
I'll make a motion to respond to the letter, asking for some timelines and expressing the situation we're in today.
I'd second the motion.
Move in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. We have a proclamation here from police. I'm not going to read all the whereases, but I'll read the resolve. In your package, the whereases from the prioritizing municipal input into the future of the RTMP contract policing decisions. Be it resolved that the town of Port Hawkesbury joins the Federation of Canadian Municipalities in calling on the federal government to commit to commit to ensuring that local government are meaningfully consulted, fully informed, and at the table on issues related to policing costs, given the municipality's role in keeping our community safe. And be it further resolved that the town of Port Hawkesbury convey this support in writing to your local member of parliament. I have a motion.
Motion moved.
Move that we send a letter to our local MP. It's been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, council. We have a proclamation here, a resolution here on, I guess, a proclamation on, it's Lyme Disease Awareness Month. Whereas Lyme disease, where Lyme disease is a serious illness caused by the bite of a black-legged tick infected with the bacterium Borrelia burgdorferi, there's a mouthful, and whereas the black-legged tick carries a variety of diseases and illnesses that can now be found in all parts of Nova Scotia, and whereas awareness, education, and participating preventative measures such as daily tick checks and proper tick removal can help reduce your chances of contacting tick-borne disease. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Deputy Mayor Ewan McDougall, on behalf of the town of Port Hawkesbury, do hereby proclaim May 2023 as Lyme Awareness Month. Could I have a motion to adopt that proclamation?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Okay, other business. Council expenses. Mr. Doyle. Is there?
Yes, Mr. Chair, so for the month of April, including your package was an expense summary table. Total expenses for the month of April was $3,308.
Okay, thank you. And we have in terms of reference, Councilor McCorley.
Yes, Deputy Mayor, so included in the package that was distributed last Friday was the terms of reference for the Port Hawkesbury Development Committee. This terms of reference hadn't been brought forward to council for approval prior to now. And so we're just bringing it forward. It's been reviewed by the committee. There were some amendments made to the terms of reference that was presented to the committee. There is, the intention is also to, which is not included here this evening, but to have an appendix as part of the terms of reference with respect to conflict of interest. It was a suggestion that had been made at our committee meeting that we would include or incorporate that as well as part of the terms of reference. And as council would know, that this committee, it came about as a result of the committee of council that in the fall looked at their committee structures and made some decisions around how the committees would proceed going forward. And this committee is a combination of what we had as the Housing Committee and the Economic Development Committee. And it was felt that both issues, economic development and housing, go hand in hand. And that's why the committee was combined. So I guess if it's appropriate, I'd make a motion. I could make the motion for council to, is it adopt or approve these terms of reference?
Say adopt.
Adopt the terms of reference for the Port Hawkesbury Development Committee.
Okay, you heard it. It's in your package. It's been moved. We have a seconder?
Seconded.
Moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, Councilor McCrory. Okay, we'll move on to the next topic, approved addition. Approved additions. Councilor Guyver, MGA.
Yes, Your Worship, through you, I would like to have staff get clarification on section 19, council meetings of the MGA. And also section 21 of the MGA voting at council meetings. If they could have that sent to the solicitor for interpretation for our next committee of the whole meeting.
So you want to say that one? Sorry, Councilman McGovern, say that one. Just to have them,
Just to have clarification on section 21, voting at a council meeting, and section 19, council meetings of the MGA.
okay?
As I guess we haven't been making motions at all our meetings, and I interpret it as a council, every meeting that a council sets at, any question that arises is voted on at that meeting. So I'd just like clarification.
I guess it wouldn't hurt for staff to get interpretation if that's what you want. I mean, I don't think you need a motion for that, do you?
I don't need a motion. If
Okay, no, thank you. Is that good?
that's good for that.
Waterfront, Councilman McIver.
Yes, Your Worship, I just want to, I guess, bring council up to date. We had a meeting today, and I don't think it ever came to council, but the Waterfront has purchased interpretive signage. And also today, we had a meeting on building and building colors. And I believe there was an email going out for them to pick colors. And I just want to make sure that council is aware of that. And maybe at our next meeting, it'll all come as a package,
Okay,
as a report that we can approve.
is this just information?
Just information.
Thank you.
I do have a question.
Okay, Councilman Coyne.
So, Councillor McIver, you're saying that the Waterfront Committee went and purchased these signs without council approval, is that correct?
That's my understanding. Yeah.
And that's not generally common practice, is it?
No, not from an advisory committee, but timelines, I believe, were an issue there too. Your Worship, maybe Mr. Doyle can.
All I know is I got an email, I didn't have time to read it today, but I don't know how to answer that. Mr. Doyle, maybe.
Well, certainly, yeah. So we have a project. So we have a project that's that the town has committed 1/3 funding to. Is from the federal government and the provincial government. We're attended the announcement of that. It's almost it's over a year ago now, and we're working through that project the same as we work through any project. So I have never, in my mind, taken every component of a project back to council. I've never seen that. So, I mean, if that's the wish of council, I don't know. I mean, it's the same as AT trail. I mean, how much gravel do you use, or how much, what's the thickness of the asphalt, or it's the same type of thing. So we have components that were identified in the project, approved by council, funding provided by government agencies, and we're just moving forward with that. So there's no need for money coming forward. The money is there. And we have an advisory group. In this case, it's the Waterfront Advisory Committee. And we're taking direction from them as to, we're asking, what's the color of the buildings that you wish? What's the, where would you like the signage? This is what we have. Do you, or is that something that we do? If there's an initiative of council that doesn't go through that project process, then those things would certainly come here, but not typically, not pieces of a project. That's the way I view it, but, that's whatever the wish of council.
So when you're talking signage, Councilor, are we just talking about signs? Just like,
Interpretive signs, and if I may, through you,
yeah,
my understanding of the committee, and not to be long, but, and I know timelines were an issue with this project. And I know that Mr. McMillan was looking after the AT trail and the paving and stuff, and we understood that. But I think anything coming from the committee, I think council understood it's an advisory committee and that they would present to council before there's approval. I may be mistaken, but we did that with Sunset Park, where they made a recommendation to name it Sunset Park, and I made the recommendation to council from the committee. So I don't want
I guess.
to throw a wrench into anything, but there's a process and I think it should be followed.
But a question, Councillor, I mean, I think I know where you're coming from somewhat, but where do you draw the line on what has to be brought back to council? Like, we can't bring everything back, can we? I think I'm not saying.
Well, through you, your worship, as Mr. Doyle stated, we wouldn't ask the thickness of pavement or how much gravel. We would know what was being gravelled. I don't, as Councillor Aucoin stated, he didn't know anything about the signage. So he doesn't know what the signage even looks like. And I don't know if you, well, you do on the committee. I don't know if Councillor McCrory knows. He only sat in on one meeting, I think, where we discussed. So what was the finalization of it, which I agree, but the steel and I think it's going to look nice, but I think council should have been aware of exactly what happened.
Okay. Okay, any other questions on that? If not, Reed Street. Councillor.
Yeah, sure, through you. I mentioned a couple of meetings ago, did we hear anything back from the province on the Reed Street project?
No, we haven't. So I've asked for a meeting with the deputy to bring them up to speed. We have several requests in for them to do work for us as well to advance certain things. And so there's a list of agenda items. The Reeve Street evaluation report is one of those.
Yes.
And I just don't have that. I don't have that. He hasn't given me that time. So my last update from him was that they're reviewing information. He's been talking to senior staff. He wants to get that feedback, and then he'll set a meeting time to give us an update.
We're talking about the survey, are we?
Yes, you're right. It was presented quite some time ago, and we did have a meeting with province, and we gave our concerns, but we never heard anything back.
Okay, no, that's fine. Any other questions on that?
No, but I'd just like to add to that, Deputy Mayor, I did email Mr. Doyle this morning just asking about an update regarding the Reed Street project, and Mr. Doyle replied that hadn't yet received an update, was waiting, just as he said, to speak to the Deputy Minister, but also in the email indicated that it was, my understanding was that it was his impression that council had asked that traffic survey data from this summer and this fall also be incorporated into the results or the final study. Am I, through you to Mr. Doyle, am I correct? Or did I interpret?
Oh, absolutely. So
Okay,
there was
I guess-
significant discussion on that.
Yeah, so I
In
guess what I would.
particular, even into October with Celtic Colors. So
But my recollection is that the conversation that we had was back in the spring and maybe prior to the presentation. I found the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting from June 21st. And I'm just gonna, it's very brief. I'm just gonna read the section here on the Reed Street Public Opinion Survey. The past chair of the Destination Reef Street Steering Committee, Kevin McEachran, provided council with a history of the Destination Reef Street project and traffic study that occurred in 2014. Nova Scotia Public Works Access Management Engineer Dwayne Cross provided an overview of the project, which included access management, upgrading of crosswalks, and improvement to intersection. A complete analysis of the public survey results was presented by Narrative Research Don Mills, which included the method and objectives of the survey. He gave a general overview of the survey results. He also encouraged councillors to read the document or the online comments. Dwayne Cross will take the concerns back to their Nova Scotia Public Works team and will commence long-term plans for permanent improvements. A number of concerns were brought forward from the councillors, such as concern of Pitt Street and McSween Street intersections, painting the lines, etc. So my recollection is different than, I guess, Mr. Doyle's, is that, and I particularly recall Councillor McDougall at the time talking about, I'll just use the word, kind of the futility of doing the results and doing the report and not having the information from last summer, the summer coming out of COVID, and that the information that we felt was important was for last summer and fall to be included in that report. Not this coming summer and fall, but in fact, last summer and fall.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's different though than what you communicated today.
To you,
Yeah, go ahead.
through you, Chair. So that wasn't my intention. If that's how you interpret it? Or that's how I wrote it?
So it's not how I interpret it. It's just, I just want to clarify it because that wasn't, like, my understanding is just what I said.
You're just talking about the time frame.
A time frame that it was for last summer's information and last fall's, not this summer.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So the frustrating part around this is it's a year, it'd be year June 21st that they're presented to council. And so if they did do that, if they held off through the summer and fall to incorporate that information, that's fine. But, we should be getting information certainly by now. And so I think maybe, had you offered or to do prepare a letter for council to make a request?
That was from my recollection, that was the discussion around council. So that's what I thought was the direction.
Sure. Yeah.
So we would try the staff route. I haven't been successful in getting that
Yep.
point. If that wasn't successful, then we would write a letter to the minister.
Yeah.
So I will prepare that, and if council wants to pass a motion on that or not, just give me direction. I'll prepare the letter, send it out for your review, and if councilors and mayor are satisfied with the letter, we'll send that on.
And the other thing that I'd be interested in seeing are minutes of the if there are minutes of the meeting where it was presented more substantially to council outside of this committee of the whole. I think it referenced that there was going to be another meeting with council to present the results. But so today I did send, Deputy Mayor, I did send just an email off to Alex McDonald, the engineer, just to ask, because in the past he had forwarded minutes of meetings that we had around Reeve Street, and if there were minutes from the meeting, I was interested in seeing what those minutes reflect.
Are we discussing when he came and presented us the results?
Yep.
Mr. what was his name?
Don Mills.
Don Mills?
Don Mills.
Yep.
Was that in June or was that May?
No, it was after this meeting on June 21st. I think there was a second meeting.
It was, yeah. I know I did have a question about why didn't we wait until the end of the summer, because that was,
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, that was, okay.
That was
So
at that
do we want to send a letter?
I think it's a good idea.
Okay, and what would you like in the letter, Councillor? Just an update?
Just the council, when can they provide council with an update as to like the work plan? Even it's in Wayne Cross will take the concerns concerns of council back to the Nova Scotia Public Works team and will commence long-term plans for permanent improvements. And there were a fair number of recommendations or suggestions that were made to them. No need to review it now, but
No,
No, I understand.
you're absolutely right, Councillor. There was quite a few recommendations that evening, and some of them were pretty in-depth, like pretty hard things. I'd like to see if they've done work on it, what they're going to present to council, in order for us to follow through with a motion to accept.
So just for clarification, after the Don Mills made his presentation, there was questions asked, and the questions that were asked were going to be sent to the department, of the Works Department.
Yes, the concerns of council were going to go back to the department, and they were going to get back to us. And as Councillor McQuarrie stated, it's a year now. And we
Yeah,
have.
but I guess I'm just trying to get, I know, forget the time frame. I just want
Yeah.
to, I want to get what we want in this letter. What do we want? You want clarification on the questions and concerns that come out of our meeting with Don Mills. Is that what we want?
Well, and specifically, I guess it's about what sort of long-term plans have they made or are making to put in place permanent improvements
Right.
that were identified
Okay.
at their meeting with council.
Recommendations.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
costs.
That sounds good.
Mhm.
Maybe a motion would be good to
I
have.
would move to send the letter.
Second,
Okay, you heard the motion. Send a letter to the, I guess it's, is it the minister or staff?
no, I think maybe it's.
Deputy minister?
I think it's to the minister.
Minister.
It's from council, it would typically go to the minister.
Okay, the minister then. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Okay, is that it for Reeve Street? Any questions on Reeve Street? If none, Filipino committee request. Councillor McCord. Again.
Yeah, so thank you, Deputy Mayor. So I have a request from the president of the Strait Area Filipino Society. I'm just going to read the request. The Strait Area Filipino Society would like to hold its annual Filipino Heritage Day on June 17th, 2023 at 1 p.m. On this special day, we would like to ask your kind assistance to support us on this event. Also on this same day, we would like to raise our Philippine flag and sing our national anthem as part of our Heritage Day celebration. This event should last from 1 to 4 p.m., 1 to 2 p.m. for the flag raising ceremony, and 2 to 4 p.m. potluck celebration at the Multicultural Center. Thank you very much in advance for your consideration, time, and support. Yours truly, Estrella Malong, President, Strait Area Filipino Society.
What day is that on, Councillor?
12th,
June 17th.
June 17th, sorry,
What
yes.
day though? It's day of the week, Saturday, is it? Just for making this clear for
Yeah, this is Saturday.
Saturday, okay.
So,
You heard the request? You making a motion?
yeah, I'd make the motion. I guess the request is that the town would fly the Filipino flag on July or June 17th.
And is that,
And you're gonna sing the national anthem, or how are we gonna get that done? Is that up to us, or are they gonna do that?
question through you, Deputy? Is that the
No,
only,
just I want a seconder first before we go any further.
Second.
Discussion second, okay, go ahead, Councillor.
is that the only request they're asking?
Yeah, so I believe so. I just want to,
What with the potluck thing, where's that?
it's at their multicultural center.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my understanding, Councillor Coyne, is we would like to ask your kind assistance to support us. On the same day, we would like to raise the flag. So I guess that's the only specific thing that seems to be there in terms of support that the town is, which we've done before.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Mhm.
As far as the national anthem night goes, maybe we can reach out and ask them if they need the sound system or anything else they need for that day, and that's all right with council.
Yep.
Okay, you heard the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Okay, that concludes our approved additions. Future meetings, committee of the whole, our next committee of the whole meeting is May 16th, 2023. Our next public meeting of council is Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. Okay, at this moment, I'd like to ask public if they got any questions online or in the gallery. Any questions would be referring to any topics that we discussed this evening in on our agenda. Okay, if none, motion for adjournment's in order.
So moved.
Been moved by
Second.
Councilman Corr, Councilman Calver, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.